I didn't put that there. What I am about to tell you has no explanation. It is the strangest thing that has ever happened to me or anyone I personally know. I work late nights at a small dive bar about 30 minutes from home. Not exactly by choice, it's just a reality of living in a rural area. There aren't many jobs close by, so you take what you can get. The bar isn't anything special, but the work is steady and most nights are uneventful. That night started out no different. My shift went by without much to report, and after closing everything down, I got into my car and began the familiar drive home. Most of the route is nothing but winding back roads, barely any lights, almost no cars, just long curves cutting through woods and farmland. Usually, I enjoy that quiet drive. It's like an automatic wind down, giving me time to zone out or think about the people I met at the bar. But that night, something felt off right away. The fog was thicker than I'd seen in years, so thick that even with my high beams on, the light just bounced back at me, turning the fog into a glowing wall of white. I had to ease off the gas and crawl forward. About halfway home, I noticed it, a faint yellow blinking light through the fog, a little off to the right side of the road. First, I assumed it was a roadside marker or a reflector, but no matter how far I drove, it stayed in exactly the same position relative to me, blinking steadily, keeping pace. I couldn't tell how far away it was. The fog seemed to play tricks on my depth perception. After a minute of this, unease started creeping in. I slowed down, hoping the light would pass me or I could get a better look, but when I dropped to almost a crawl, it stayed right there, exactly the same distance. That's when the nerves really hit. I stopped completely. The light didn't move. Same blink, same rhythm, and then it changed. Blinking didn't stop, but the light itself grew brighter with every pulse, like a flame catching a sudden gust. It wasn't flashing faster, just burning stronger. That was enough for me. I decided to turn around. I reached down to put the car in reverse and realized the engine wasn't running. The silence was so complete it was almost physical. I knew I hadn't turned the key. Why would I? My hands started shaking, something they never do. I pour drinks all night. Steady hands are part of the job. I tried the ignition, nothing. Tried again and again, dead. All the while, the yellow light grew brighter and brighter, almost like it was feeding on something. Then I reached for my phone. Dead black screen. 20% battery an hour earlier, and now nothing. Before I could think of my next move, the light flared, exploding into a blinding white glare that forced my eyes shut. I shielded my face, counted 10 seconds, and when I finally looked again, it was gone. Fog remained, but there was nothing out there. Heart pounding, I turned the key one more time. The engine roared to life as if nothing had happened. I drove home without looking anywhere but the road, afraid a single glance might bring the light back. A couple of years later, I was out on a long-haul trucking loop, second to last delivery of the run, cutting across a lonely desert highway. It was one of those stretches where there's no traffic, no towns for miles, just a 2-lane road under a canopy of stars. I was an hour away from the next drop when I saw it in my side mirror, a dark SUV, far behind me but keeping exact pace. It didn't tailgate or try to pass, just stayed the same distance no matter how I sped up or slowed down. For nearly 40 minutes it hovered there. I pulled into a small dirt rest area. Just a few faded spaces and a shed with a flickering light above some vending machines. The SUV followed, pulling into the far corner. My irritation boiled over. I jumped down from the cab, marching toward it, but before I got close, the engine roared and they sped off in a spray of gravel. I figured that was the end of it. Too tired to get back on the road, I locked the cargo doors, cracked the window, and settled in for a nap. Maybe an hour later, I woke to the faint crunch of footsteps in the gravel. Through a slit in the curtain, I saw the figures crouched at the trailer's rear wheels, inspecting the latch with a flashlight. Then one reached into a bag and pulled out bolt cutters. Instinct took over. I slammed my palm on the air horn. They bolted instantly, sprinting into the dark. And then, from nowhere, the same SUV appeared again. Lights off, turning sharply before vanishing into the night when the police arrived. We found fresh pry marks on the lock arm. They said it was a common tactic. Cargo thieves, following trucks until they find a quiet place to strike. And then there was that summer night with my dad's BMW M3. I was cruising the highway with the windows down, loving the hum of the engine. On impulse, I took an exit into a network of narrow back roads. Tight bends, empty streets, exactly what I wanted. Until my headlights caught the glint of metal. A shopping cart sat dead center in the road. I stopped, hazard lights on, and got out. The cart was empty. Odd but harmless, or so I thought. From the corner of my eye, the dark shapes broke from the farmland, sprinting straight toward me. I ran for the car. One stopped short, but the other slammed into the passenger door with terrifying force. He didn't flinch. His face was smeared with dirt or blood, his hair tangled, clothes torn, eyes bloodshot and vacant. He gripped the door handle, fumbling to get in. That broke my paralysis. I swerved around the cart and sped away, heart racing. At home, I inspected the car. Blood was streaked across the passenger side, spattered on the mirror and handle, even trailing toward the rear quarter panel. A small dent marked the center of the door. I called the police from the road that night, but they never got back to me. I still don't know if that man survived. I can't stop wondering if I escaped a setup meant to lure someone out into the dark, or if I left someone bleeding to death in the middle of nowhere.